Good morning, everyone. Welcome and welcome back to Solid Ground on this Thursday morning, the 10th of April. I don't know about you, but I have no idea where the year is going. Rachel keeps saying to me, the days are long, but the years go quickly. And like many things, she's quite correct. But look, welcome to Solid Ground, where we talk the, cultural, political, social issues of the day. And I just put up a random collection of things which have caught my attention. I make some comment on them, but really importantly, you too can make comment. If you are on the Family First Facebook page or on Family First YouTube channel, comments that you make, like the lovely Catherine here, come to me in studio, which is marvellous, as to Lynette. Obviously, some of our regulars who know that I always love a good morning and to know where people are from. So we've got two from the south so far. The north is hopeless. There's no one from the north. No, only kidding. Obviously, we've got people, you'll be viewing this across an array of platforms, and some of you will actually even be on my Facebook page, which is fantastic. But as I say, if you want your comments to come in here, either just to say hello or comment on what's being said, or really importantly too, guys, if you have a question, if there's something on your mind, to ask, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. I mean, obviously, I can't answer all and every question related to, nuclear physics, but anything, I'll do my best. Rosie, good morning to you as well. We've got Jackie here. Welcome, guys. Look, I'm going to start I'm going to start with this. This is just some of Rachel and my honey from our hives. It got sorted yesterday, so we have a beekeeper who helps, so they did the hard work. There we go. I'm going to admit it. They do the hard work, but we get the results of it. So even though we are here in Auckland City, we have beehives. And so there's just a little photo of our little, I don't know what you'd even call it. What's it called? Clearly honey. But I was trying to think, is it the delicious gold? I don't know. Anyway, it is fantastic. We have lots of it. One of the things here are the Northerners. They're coming in. Hello, Chilean up there, and lovely Kerry. Excuse me. And Ian from Lower Hutt. Right, things are balancing out. For those just joining, going, what's happening is that the first sets of people coming on and commenting were all from the south. But anyway, there's just, I think, something lovely. Rachel's habit is to actually take the honey from these big containers, because they're quite large, about 1 kg each. And so, is that right? No, I probably got that wrong, but they're quite big. And then we put them into little bottles and give them to friends, which is quite lovely. Anyway, on to more serious matters. I was not going to talk about this fellow Benjamin Doyle from the Greens. I was getting, when I say a bit over it, not that we shouldn't still be prosecuting the issue, and in fact we've got to continue to do so. But I was just getting, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I was just getting a little tired of talking about it per se, and certainly here, because things can get repetitive. However, he resurfaced yesterday in Parliament, and I'm going to share a little video, only about a minute, not even that, and then just comment, because actually just about everything he said, and granted that's only a snippet, but everything he said is all about himself. It really answers very little to no of the serious questions facing him, and he's just continued the Greens line, which is they are the victims and no one's allowed to question them. And also his statements were filled with more falsities. Now that shouldn't be a surprise, because we already know there's a number of very suspicious comments and activities on his account. And I'm just saying things like his claiming a PhD effectively, his disability, his whakapapa and so forth. There's questions there. And they're not being answered. So it won't surprise you that when he went to Parliament, he was full, if you will, of excuses, blame for everybody else, mistruths. So we'll pull that out. But just as quick context, the choice of standing in front of Parliament yesterday afternoon was very deliberate. Now look, let's be clear, all politicians and political parties try to play games in and around the media to maximise or to minimise damage. In this case, this is majorly damaging for the Greens, and I can, if you will, prove that as well a little later. But just first, just reflect on the choice of day. Now, we know, for example, to show some balance, governments will usually dump bad news on a Friday afternoon, hoping that you'll forget about it as you're standing around the barbecue or having after-work drinks. But you might know that this is the last sitting week of Parliament for 3 weeks. It goes into a recess. It's not a holiday. It's always very tempting to think that the MPs are on holiday, but the constituent ones in particular are not. I suspect the Green MPs like Benjamin Doyle are on holiday. In fact, I'd say he's been holidaying for the last week or two, hiding away from everybody. But the recess is 3 weeks. So basically, by turning up yesterday, he's at the very end of the sitting week. We actually have the controversial Treaty Principles Bill being read a second time today. We know it's going to be voted down. And again, excuse me, the issue is not whether people support or not. The bill, though, is going to be all the news. In other words, the Greens are trying to get, if you will, underneath that and forgotten, because, again, all the reporting today will be around the Treaty Principles Bill, not the continuing questions around Benjamin Doyle. And as I say, that's the end of Parliament. He can hide away for another 3 weeks, hoping it'll be forgotten. But I don't think, from what he did yesterday and what he said, we're talking for those coming in around Benjamin Doyle, I don't think it is going to go away. Just quickly before I play the video, just hello to Sandra. We've got Viv there, lovely to have you as well. Natalie, I hope you guys are well. Exciting times for you. I look forward to seeing the new one, the new little Peppy soon. Wonderful. Haven't been around town much. Sorry, but so we'll catch up soon. Switching to this topic, Catherine rightly notes he's gaslit everyone. You'll hear that in the video. So there's that. Rosie just noting one part of his defence that his inappropriate words were just, again, they're just fun. Well, I don't know. I don't think they're fun. Sorry, I don't know why my voice is cracking. Probably talking too much. So Katie's comments there. And Sue is right as well. I don't know if you can read the whole thing, but she says, I find it outrageous that police were working with him to plan security to return to Parliament, yet police are not investigating. Yeah, look, exactly right. There we go. Exactly right. It's theatre. Look, I have no doubt, and I've said it before, people who are posting or making vile comments, threatening comments, it is inappropriate. If there are death threats, that's well off the scale. Totally wrong. Also pointed out, it happens to a lot of MPs. It doesn't make it better by any means, but I think the Greens are using this as a defence, again, to try and make him out as the victim. And I've mentioned also several times, it's fascinating how the child is barely ever mentioned. And disarray is correct. It was all very well scripted. You'll hear it. I'll put that video on. I'll play the full video for you, and then I'll put it into a smaller screen and just pull it apart. So it's only very short, so you don't have to put up with you don't have to put up with them for very long.
I knew coming to Parliament that I would face prejudice and homophobia. I knew that people would not like the way I dress or speak or the causes that I advocate for. I knew that I would be under scrutiny, as is appropriate for every single person that has the privilege of this position. But I could never imagine or prepare myself to be attacked in such a baseless, personal and violent way. That my life and that of my child would be threatened. That poisonous transphobic hate and imported culture wars would be levelled against me and my community, not just by extremists online, but by individuals who hold the highest level of authority in this institution. I knew coming to Parliament
Whoop, there we go. Unmute myself, sorry. Always muting myself. I was just saying, to be fair, there's a lot more, but he really doesn't answer the questions. In some ways, as people have noted, he's just repeating set lines. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Politicians often go with set lines, but he's just really echoing the same defence, which is he is the victim. But if I just play and pause a few parts here, you'll see basically through what in effect is a series of inaccuracies. So let's just start with this.
I knew coming to Parliament that I would face prejudice and homophobia.
Well, firstly, I don't know how, and those in the LGBT community have been pointing this out, he himself is not homosexual as far as we understand, or gay. He's got a female partner. So again, misdirection there. I mean, he certainly identifies into the queer community, but I'm probably belabouring these points as we've got to understand that and I'm sure you do, that they are playing with language which is not accurate or at best disingenuous. So that's it. And the second is we all face prejudice in Parliament because we're people with all different views. I mean, wake up.
I knew that people would not like the way I dress or speak or the causes that I advocate for.
We couldn't care less. As the same that people probably don't like the way that I speak or think that my fashion choices are strange too. Again, notice he's just talking all about himself.
I knew that I would be under scrutiny.
Gosh, fancy that. Fancy that an MP thinking they could be under scrutiny. In fact, it turns out, guys, the Green Party advised him to bring down his social media. Now, that's important, of course, because the Green Party realised early on, I should have noted that, this was before he became an MP. They went, this is something not right here. He chose to leave it up, that's his choice. And now he's facing the scrutiny.
As is appropriate for every single person that has the privilege of this position.
Except pretty much no other MP posts what he posts.
But I could never imagine or prepare myself to be attacked in such a baseless, personal and violent way.
Well, again, violent is a word that the Greens use of everything. As I say, it's from literal physical violence to you look at them the wrong way. That's violent. So again, he's trying to gaslight people here. And the problem for Benjamin, of course, it's not baseless. He will spend the rest of the interview sidestepping and trying to play down things. And again, we all have to stress these are only allegations, but they're not baseless.
That my life and that of my child would be threatened. That poisonous transphobic hate and imported culture wars.
So again, just like the homophobia now, he's claiming transphobia. Again, that doesn't, from what we understand and other commenters are noting, it doesn't actually apply to him. And he talks about the imported culture wars. This is one of the funniest things for me, not just about him, this always comes from the progressives. They always talk about we don't like the culture wars, but of course, who are the greater importers of it? It's them. And more often than not, it's more of us on the conservative side who are trying to react as they try to trans their children, sexualise children, you name it, push this, what do they call it, gender-affirming care, critical race theory. These are all progressive imported ideas. Even some of the big changes in our social fabric. Euthanasia is imported. So I just think it's ironic.
Would be levelled against me and my community, not just by extremists online, but by individuals who hold the highest level of authority in this institution.
And there you have it, guys. Anyone who questions him is an extremist. So look, I've spent quite a bit of time on that. I had not intended to do so last night as I was prepping for this, but I just thought it is quite a current story, and I probably belabor these things. You're always welcome to put it in the comments or message me, but it's just breaking down the game that they're playing. And this is a man who is basically still avoiding scrutiny. He's deliberately chosen to come on the day that he did to try and minimise exposure and hoping it all goes away. You know, this is the headlines in the paper. It's political naivety that he refused to delete social media posts. No, I think he was proud of it. And I think he probably still thinks that he can get away with this stuff because of who he is. But I thought this too was very striking. These are the people who stood with him. So there's a couple of MPs, a couple of academics, and the head of Inside Out, so a very radical activist group. Do you notice who's not there? Do you notice who's not there? And I think this is exceptionally telling. These two. Where are the party leaders? Where are the party leaders to stand with this, bedraggled? Is that the right word? I can't think of it. MP, certainly under fire. But again, it's not under fire for base reasons. There'll be some who are pushing this out too far, but I think most of us are saying, actually, we want to see a bit more scrutiny. And finally, we want the media to show a little bit more scrutiny. They did this disgusting hatchet job on a national MP the other day. And it is disgusting because the media are, one, trying to distract from Benjamin Doyle, two, are trying to exact some cost on the other side of the political aisle. In other words, the left, the Greens, are taking rightly heavy fire for Benjamin Doyle, so the media are trying to balance things out. So I don't know if you can read that. I'll put it up on a slightly better shot in the moment. But it was an absolutely appalling hatchet job by media. So the National MP, get this, is accused of having people visit his home. That's pretty much it. That's his crime. That's why you have journalists chasing him around Parliament, door-stopping him as he tries to enter Parliament, shoving cameras and microphones in his face, demanding answers. This is, of course, for the National MP, not for Benjamin Doyle. I'll just do this in case you can't read as clearly on the earlier shots. This is what I posted about it, and it sums up my thoughts. As I say, the Green MP publishes pictures of children with sexualised innuendo and questionable words, and legacy media not only says little, but acts as collaborators by amplifying the gaslighting of those raising questions. A National MP hosts people, I think it says, hosts people from a fringe religious group, and it's front page news and a media pile-on already. You cannot have enough contempt for the hypocrisy of legacy media. Well, that's gone viral. Thousands and thousands and thousands reading that and liking it. It's been quite extraordinary. But it does sum up very succinctly my thoughts, because I just think it's despicable the way that the media is handling it. Benjamin Doyle has questions to answer. He still has not answered them. He is still just attacking people. He's still just distracting or trying to distract people. All of this. A National MP hosted people to his home. Yep, they're from a religious group. Well, whoop-de-doo. It doesn't matter if people perceive them as fringe or not. I actually have no idea what the group is. I can't even remember the name. And I've read the article. It just makes no difference to me. So, again, I have no idea who they are, but it's how they're being reported. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's mainstream or fringe. It doesn't matter. We have freedom of association. The media is, there are people in that religious group who were abusers. Not the people, let's stress, it's not the people who turned up at his house within the wider group. Well, that applies to every group. I'm Catholic. All right, we know all about the scandals in the Catholic Church, but that doesn't tar everybody. And I just encourage the media to also ponder themselves, because, of course, there's lots of scandals in media here and overseas. So anyway, guys, there's just a few thoughts. I've rabbited on. I'm going to actually have a quick look down, and there's lots of comments. And I've where are they all? Here we go. I'll just see. Oh, we've got that. Very good. We've got so many. I've got to skip pages. I'm just seeing what we've got here. So lots of lovely good mornings. Lovely to have you all here who have been saying hello. As Catherine noted, as I did as well. We've got, Claire, lovely to have you on. So I know Claire, outside of this filming too. Disarray thinks Benjamin looks ill. To be honest, I'd suspect he's probably quite exhausted by it. I mean, the media spotlight, even when so dimly put on them, is very stressful. Mike makes a comment here, reading the article about they instead of he. Well, look, he wants to play games. Always understand, and again, you guys probably do, but the use of pronouns is a power game. It's trying to unsteady you. It's like when people start correcting your grammar. It's to try and unsteady you. It's ridiculous. Simply Green says it's all around projection. It's not good. There's a good one. Sorry, there's so many comments. Marie is right. Deflecting. Tanya asks us a really good question. What about the child? Very little is said there, isn't it, really? It's extraordinary. Simply Green as well, I think, by the way, they're all excellent comments. So this is good. I just can't put them all up. Rosie's asking the question. Well, look, I mean, these are, again, valid questions. As I said, other commentators are pointing out the nature of how he lives his life doesn't fit the categories he's trying to claim. Now, again, those are questions that could be put to him. But, yeah. Oh, and then this is around the visit to the national MPs. I honestly don't know. That's just how it's been reported. To be honest, as I say, don't know. And I don't actually think, without sounding rude, it really matters. Again, we have freedom of association in this country. Hey, look, a couple of other very quick things, and it sort of fits in a little bit of the motive. This one I saw the other day, and I've been sitting on it. One of our universities, I think it might be Victoria, is warning academics about be very careful if you go to the United States. I think this is just dog whistling rubbish, and that's why I thought I'd share it. The idea that academics are somehow going to be harassed, or they sort of imply arrested in America, is quite extraordinary. But again, it's dog whistling against, in this case, the Trump administration or America in general, that somehow this is a police state. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. You'd have to be doing some pretty, corrupt or terroristic research to have that happen. But again, it's just trying to create an impression that these academics, not all of them, of course, we have some wonderful academics, I interview them on the podcast, but those who are in the woke areas, all your queer and gender theories and indigenous theories and all of this, they just want to portray themselves as a victim, usually because actually their academic, the quality of academic is crap, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if you guys read or see some of these papers, or even heard the interview I did with a guy called Peter Boghossian, who outed a lot of these guys in terms of mocking the nature of their papers. So again, I just draw this to your attention that, just as you probably are doing, looking in behind. Oh, Rosie says the University of Auckland. Well, there you go, my old university, which is going downhill fast, I have to say, in terms of its quality. It's also the university which is forcing indoctrination onto people, which is going to be quite interesting, I think, for a number of Christians, because Auckland University seems that sort of compulsory learning in the spiritual areas. If it's just about learning about gods and the small g, as you might do about Greek gods, that's fine. But if Christians are confronted having to do karakia or prayers to other deities, got to stand up. But anyway, I digress. Speaking of absolute absurdity, I entitled this for me a pagan library. So this is Wellington Library is trying a new shelving system based around the Maori deity. So we're celebrating paganism in the libraries now. Now, to be fair, this is around not all categories. You're not going to find the entire Dewey Decimal System thrown out and the pantheon of Maori gods with a small g turning up. This is to do with topics that are Māori. But I just find it completely and utterly absurd. I think ethically, again, for those of us who come from a Christian viewpoint, it's not a good thing. We don't run about, I don't even think we put, imagine putting I'm confusing two things here at once. One is, I don't particularly think in a secular society that New Zealand's supposed to be in a ratepayer-funded library that promoting pagan gods is appropriate. We don't do it within the Christian context. But the wider part is, this is the library, people. The Dewey Decimal System has come about because actually it's a really, really good system. It actually helps people find things. Māori Mataranga is not so exceptional that it can't fit. We seem to fit every other culture into the Dewey Decimal System, but you've just got these woke, well, let's just call them the idiots that they are at the library, setting up a library system on Maori deities. I mean, how crude could you be? It's just insane. Anyway, I can belabour that as well. And look, final point, because I don't think I'm going to raise again. The Defence Capability Plan came out the other day, and the government's making big noises about it. They're going to spend, I think, something like $12 billion they're promising. Look, to be blunt, I don't see it happening. Partly because it's so many years of spending and governments aren't usually around that long. I think the sentiment is good. New Zealand doesn't spend enough on defence. And really quickly, guys, we're not going to be invaded anytime soon. We're not setting up our defence forces for someone, the Aussies or others to come, storming across the Tasman. We need to spend money so we can work with our allies in a mature way. and actually have the capabilities. But I just don't know where the money's coming from. So in other words, it's a lot of sizzle, but where's the steak? Because, if the government's going to find $12 billion, where's it coming from? And you all know it yourselves. The country's near broke. We keep going into more debt. Education, health, you name it, transport, they're all crying out for money. And so if 12 billion goes into defence, I don't really think there's much left for the others. So there's a number of questions here for me around how this is going to work. So we'll just keep watching it. Anyway, guys, that's almost the show. A couple of things. I've got political playback on tonight. Bob is almost back. He's almost back. In fact, he's just done an amazing podcast. I think I can say it. Vodi Bosham. As in, I'm allowed to tell you. I mean, I can say Vodi Bosham. It's more. And I hope you know who he is. If you don't, you'll find out in the podcast. So Bob was well enough to do that yesterday. But at this point, he's not joining me tonight. So I've got Peter Williams coming on. He and I will be chewing the fat over politics of the last week. Certainly will be putting questions around the whole Green saga. Not just Benjamin Doyle and how they're handling things, but his perspective, particularly of how the media is handling things, from Benjamin Doyle to Tamitha Paul to the fact that they attacked the National MP. So all of that. For something lighter, you can jump on it. If you might know, I do Reality Check Radio. I host a show there. And I've just done actually a long-form interview with, he's my mate, Bruce. He and I actually trained as priests together many, many years ago. When I had brown hair. But he lives there in America, so he gives us actually quite a different perspective on what's happening in America. So that's good. So tune into that, just rcr.media. Jackie's asking, is it 5 p.m. tonight? Yes, it is. That's always... Thank you for prompting me, Jackie. I am absolutely hopeless, aren't I? So yes, for those who want to join Political Playback, it's 5 p.m. tonight for about 45 minutes. Peter and I will chat. And just like here, you can put comments in and ask us questions as the night goes on. Final thing, where is it? There we go. Because Bob isn't well, in fact, that's a terrible segue. We'd be asking for this anyway. We are celebrating Family First's 19th birthday, or its 20th year. If you want to make Bob feel better, feel free to donate. We'd love your support. As you know, the government, chased down Family First charity status years ago. And the irony, guys, is actually people have become more generous and we've become stronger. So there's the irony, there's the silver lining, and perhaps that's also grace. And I'm just going to leave you this little video for those of you who are perhaps first time here, just to let you know that this is only one of many shows that Family First runs.
If you're looking for news that you can trust, commentary on key family and social issues, and conservative conversations, go no further. Family First has them all. Start each weekday informed. 7:30 a.m. live, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, Daybreak with Bob McCoskrie as he gives an overview of key stories that you need to be aware of. 7:30 a.m. live Tuesday and Thursday, a more in-depth discussion, Solid Ground with Simon O'Connor. On Monday nights, live at 8 p.m, watch Straight Talk with our panel. Thursdays, live at 5 p.m, Political Playback, as we discuss the week in Parliament and New Zealand politics in general from a conservative viewpoint. You can watch all of these features live and also on demand on our website, Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on our YouTube channel. Plus, there's regular episodes of social commentary with Mick Vlog and weekly interviews in family matters. There's also additional commentary on our website, and both Simon and Bob are writing on Substack. Finally, something worth watching that you can trust. Go to familyfirst.nz for more details.
So there you have it, people. There's our weekly run show. As I say, we've actually got such a level of viewership and support now that Bob and I can do shows every morning. But that's it for this week. As I say, Solid Ground on Thursday. Bob will be taking a break from Daybreak tomorrow as he recovers. He's doing well, as I say. Caught up with him yesterday. But guys, I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for all the lovely messages and thoughts. And for those who are able, I'll see you along with Peter Williams at 5 o'clock tonight.